There have been so many conversations recently about what the real estate industry is going to look like, what the economy is going to look like in the next 12 months. But the perspective is always from the consumer's eyes, which is super important. But there's another perspective that no one's talking about that I just want to spend a few minutes talking about today. What does the industry look like for the next 12 months from the agent's perspective? You're a real estate agent. What does this look like for you? Now, by no means do I have all of this figured out. I've been through a lot of shifting markets. Been fortunate to have a lot of success and a huge volume of real estate, and I've got a lot of incredible supporters in the communities that we work in. I don't have it all figured out. I don't have a crystal ball, but I want to share just a few things that seem to be on the horizon. The industry is going to get more challenging. There's a lot more real estate agents in the industry. There's a lot more money from tech companies and brokerages throughout the world that are all trying to really innovate or disrupt the consumer experience when it comes to real estate. Also, consumers have access to way more information than they ever have before, which I think all of those things are really great things, because innovation really creates competition, which pushes you to become the best that you can be. So I think it's a great thing. But when you think about where we're headed, and if you look at past shifting markets, you look at as economies change, history sort of shows that there will be a decline in the number of real estate agents. And I think it's going to be pretty significant. And I think it's going to be sooner than later. I think a lot of you that are listening to this right now, you might be in a place right now where things are starting to get a lot more difficult. It's starting to become a lot more challenging. It's not feeling the same that it felt the past several years, right? You're having transactions that are falling apart. You're noticing that leads, if you do generate leads, the quality of them is starting to change. You're starting to notice coworkers that were having a lot of success are now having challenges. You notice a lot more houses coming in the market, a lot more price reductions, motivations changing, inspections falling apart, appraisals having issues. These are all signs of a changing market. Now, I don't believe that overnight the market's going to collapse or decline significantly, but you can tell and feel that things are changing. Right? And when you think about where you're going to be from your perspective, the real estate professional, I want you to think about a couple of things. The one that I really want you to hone in on is actually what people make for a living. What people make for a living. Think about that for a second. Their wage. And you look at how expensive everything is getting, from gas to supplies to groceries to everything in the world. You know how much more expensive life's got for you. Housing. Another one, right? When you think about that, think about all those things that are increasing. Interest rates on the rise. Income is not going up at the same level that everything else is. We're probably not too far away where, unfortunately, a lot of people in the world have to make some tough decisions around what they can afford, what things they should pay, what things they shouldn't. Right? If you look at how fast everything has went up, wages just haven't went up at the same pace. And I share that with all of you because when you look at those indicators, right, those indicators there kind of tell you where we're headed, right? There's obviously been a shortage of homeowners that are thinking about selling, and that's really helped prices maintain and still, to this point, slightly still on the rise from an appreciation standpoint. But it looks like things are going to stabilize here in the next 12 months, and it's just going to be a very different market. People are going to be very selective if they should buy and sell. It's really going to come into it's a necessity. They have to do it. If it's just something that they were thinking about doing or were contemplating doing, or it would be nice to have, those types of people are pretty much starting to hit the pause button, we were really interested, but now that interest rates have done this, we're kind of going to stay put. The other thing you're hearing a lot more is like, well, we were going to do this, but now we might just remodel where we live now. And there's a lot of other reasons why someone should or shouldn't remodel and invest that money in. And, maybe they're taking a line of credit. So that's for another conversation. But those types of things are happening now. Also, when you look at the next 12 months from the agent's perspective, the amount of effort to get qualified business, whether that's through prospecting like door knocking, cold calling, reaching out to friends and family, going to networking things, or if it's on the other side, which is more marketing based of creating, a big brand and marketing where things are constantly coming in, people that want to work with your brand. Wherever you're at in that process, you're going to notice that the people that are coming in, there's going to be a lot less of them. There just is. There's going to be less transactions. There's going to be less people that are in that have to move category. Now, life-changing events always are the biggest motivating factor in that, right? Expecting children, thinking about retiring, relocating, death, divorce, certain floor plans, different things that, different types of graduation, adoption, marriage. There's just a lot of different life events that happen that people are in a place where they have to move. And so that market's obviously not going away, but some of where it was a luxury for someone to buy or a no-brainer for someone to buy because rates were continuing to decline and they could move into a more preferred floor plan, or they could, buy a house that was more expensive, but their payment could be close to the same or even significantly less because they were able to lock in at a lower interest rate. Now we're in a place where it's going to cause people to really reflect on what's important in their life and if they really want to follow through with buying and selling real estate. What that means for you as an agent is that the things that you were able to skip over the past couple of years are going to become critical, right? You're not going to have the luxury not to call someone back for several minutes, hours, if not days. You're not going to have the luxury to avoid response to someone that inquired on a property. You're not going to have the luxury to take several weeks or months off without a plan for the business to continue to bring in high qualified inbound leads. You're going to have to constantly be prospecting. And what's going to happen is because there are less opportunities and more agents right now, which means there's going to be less for each agent. And it's always the case, it's the top 10%. They do the majority of the business, and the top 10% do 90% of the business. That's when it's going to be the case here, right? So if you found yourself in a situation where you're starting to get real uneasy, you're getting uneasy, you're getting nervous, maybe you're in a position where you're starting to feel like you're stuck in neutral and you're not taking action right now, or you don't have a strategy to generate a significant amount of highly qualified leads. Maybe you don't have the risk tolerance, maybe you don't have the budget, or you don't have the desire to invest the time to go out and hunt down the business. I'm warning you that the days ahead are going to get tough. And so take time today to create a business strategy that creates longevity for you in this industry. The past several years, so many people in this industry from an agent perspective made decisions about brokerages they were going to join, teams they were going to join, and it was based around the little information that they knew or felt about the industry. Everything felt like it was hot. Things were going super well. And people and agents started jumping all over the place without a strategy of what business looks like in a downturn, in a shifting market. And now here we are, and so many of you listening right now are really scared. You're scared, but you're not taking action. You're not changing your patterns. You're not changing your behavior. You're not attempting to modify your habits. And you're in a place right now where you are really vulnerable. If you don't make some major changes, the industry is going to catch you. And it's really sad to say that, because when I entered the real estate industry in 2009, I watched so many amazing people forced out of the industry because they didn't innovate, they didn't evolve, they didn't know what to do when things got tough. And you know yourself better than I do. If you know that you tend to kind of get stuck when things get tough, surround yourself with people, then mentors. Put people close to you that can push you, help you, and know the blueprint that you need to execute on right now for this shifting economy, for this shifting industry, for the new world. You need people around you that can give you sound advice that can really help you go to the next level. And, I know that most people that got into real estate for freedom, flexibility, unlimited earning potential. You love connecting with people. But we're entering a world where you need to be a high risk taker, right? You're investing a lot of effort today or resources, whether that's money, time, talents, whatever that may be. You're going to invest a lot right now, and you're not going to see the return for several months, if not years, right? A lot of people that, from the consumer standpoint, that are thinking about buying or selling in a changing market, the sales cycle's longer. Right? It might be months and months and months before they buy and sell or even close. And so really make sure that you've got yourself in a position where you can wait out the storm, right? If you look at how long we've really been increasing in the industry, really from 2009 on, we've really been going up. And we had some ups and downs and some shifts in there with rates and the economy and some setbacks along the way. But you really need to start thinking about this. And if you're not in alignment with your team or your brokerage, with what the strategy is, and you're not really getting integrated into the culture and the community and connecting with leaders inside of the organization you're a part of, you need to step through that right now. You really do. This is a big warning sign for you. And so I hope for a lot of you, this is a wake-up call. If you're not in a position where you're winning right now, you got to make a change, and you got to make a change quick. You got to make a change quick, and you got to get connected with people that have the experience to navigate the times that are ahead, right? And what I always believed, and there's so many different ways to run a real estate business. What I've always believed is the brand-based model would win when times change. And we're entering a world where things are going to get difficult. And for us, with that brand-based model, everyone is coming to us. Buyers and sellers are going, we trust you, we know you, things are challenging, rates are going up, it's tough to navigate a real estate transaction. We want to work with the name that we know, that we like, and that we can trust. And so we have so many high qualified appointments coming in, but that's not the only way. Some people in the industry choose to sacrifice and risk their time, right? And that's what I mentioned earlier, the door knocking, the cold calling, right? The prospecting, dropping off little gifts for everyone that's in your sphere of influence, right? There's a lot of different ways to do it, but just start investing. Whatever route you want to go, whether that's the prospecting-based model, maybe you're in that position now, maybe you're in the brand-based model, whatever it may be, get yourself positioned. Everyone's right now starting to move around and get ready. It's like, when you're in that severe weather warning and you're looking at the radar and there's those colors that you don't want to see on the radar, you're starting to get a little bit nervous, like, ooh, this might actually hit where I'm at right now. And you're starting, you might be grabbing, backup chargers or portable chargers, or trying to figure out if you should be around windows or what adjustments you should make. That's how I want you thinking about the industry right now. And if anything, even if things don't change as drastic as, some of the experts are predicting, this was a good exercise to do anyways, to really evaluate and take a deep dive into your performance, look at your financials, look at the effort you're putting in, look at the results that you're getting. It's a great time to really reflect and be honest with yourself, right? And just really take a deep dive in. 12 months from now, what are you doing personally first, professionally second? What does it look like? Did you take that trip that you've always wanted to? Did you pay off those student loans that you know you need to? Is it debt that you wanted to get rid of? Credit cards? Is it donating to a nonprofit that's important? Is it donating your time? Is it volunteering? Is it volunteering at your church? Whatever it may be for you, think about what that looks like 12 months from now. I know that if you're in alignment personally with your professional commitments, you're going to hit them every single time. So with all the things that are changing, make sure you've got yourself dialed in, that you know what's happening 12 months from now. You've got that target and you know what that bullseye is. You're like, that's my spot. You know, what I've seen in the industry for so long, especially when things are changing, is that most people don't have high vision and you don't actually know where you're going. So take some time today, my friends, whether it's at the end of the day and you're journaling, getting ready for tomorrow, or you listen to this in the morning, spend a little bit of time jotting things down. What does life look like for you? What is it going to look like, right? Because I know if you get super dialed in personally, you can overcome anything that you want. My friends, you're stronger than you think you are. You can do this. It's time to stop being nervous, and now you need to start taking action. Those that are at a standstill right now, worried about business, pointing fingers, trying to figure it out, are probably going to be out of the industry. The ones that are taking action, that are taking risk, that are getting aligned with the right companies, with the right marketing strategy, with the right prospecting strategies, whatever that is for you, those are the ones that are going to win. And I want everyone listening right now to be a winner. So go out there and execute on this. You don't have time for this to wait. You have to look in the mirror and get serious about this. What does it look like 12 months from now for you, the agent? Thank you for listening. If you know another real estate agent that needs to hear this right now, please, my friends, screenshot this episode, post it on social media, and tag 3 of your friends. If you really want to give me a personal thank you for this episode or for this podcast, please leave me a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. And also leave comments, leave a note. I read all of them, and I just love hearing all of the positive feedback about our podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'm super excited to continue to be on this journey with you. I'm confident that you are stronger than you think you are, and I'm also certain that you can think bigger than you are right now. Let's go, my friends.